it goes on all through the life, right from the beginning until we die. This is how my mind is functioning. I have not done anything to change it. I have not done anything to change it. Yoga says, no, this is not the way, this is not the way. Your mind has got different capabilities. Why don't you try the other capability? When the mind is able to remain focused on it, it is able to feel very happy. Sometimes, when you are able to do a concentrated work for a short period of time, you feel very happy. Whereas on the other hand, the mind is constantly distracted, you don't feel happy. So these people say that, Sattva provides that opportunity, provides a platform to develop the Ekagata. So let's say, all right, don't complicate your meditation. Take any simple object for your meditation. Okay, the object that they talk about in the traditional Indian context was to take a mantra or take take an icon. If you are a Shaiva, if you like Shiva's icon. Yeah. Okay. Keep it in front of you, meditate upon that, use a mantra. There are so many ways, and then you can focus on. Or just take a mantra. Or there are some people who are able to focus attention on the internal chakras. Okay, you can concentrate upon your internal chakras. He doesn't want to get involved because hundreds and hundreds of methods of hundreds and hundreds of audios have been suggested. If I'm a Shaivite, I will say, take this mantra, Namah Shivaya mantra. And then somebody says, no, you can't say Shivaya mantra, you must add Shakti mantra also. Then, Hrim Namah Shivaya, you must add. Like that, it's a big, subject. So Patanjali doesn't want to get involved. Try to focus your attention on something, But only thing is the object that you want to contemplate should be something uplifting, something uplifting. Okay, now then what do? You take a mantra, I take an icon, and then all right, I'm going to meditate for 15 minutes. So what do? I've done my asana, I've done my pranayama, I've been very careful about my yama niyamas. I sit down and start my meditation. What do? I start my meditation. I got only one object to think about. Let us say Om. I just want to contemplate upon Om. What do? Close my eyes and chant Om, Om. I concentrate only on the sound, not its meaning, none of those things. I want to reduce the variations in that. I want to concentrate only on focus on the sound. So I chant Om, Om, Om. So for about 15 minutes I tried. Then after 4 or 5 times when I chant Om, without my control, without doing anything, the mind starts thinking about something else. It goes away, it starts thinking about something else. And then after about 2 or 3 minutes, you suddenly realize, I want to, I'll take another 5 minutes and then stop. I want to know, what do I say? I'm sitting here to meditate on this particular mantra. So I realize that and bring my mind back. Don't get, overly, don't be harsh on yourself, okay? Don't be harsh on yourself. This is the natural tendency in the mind, what it's doing, bring your mind back to it. Again, after some time will go. So stay there for about 15 minutes or so. And the next day you again start the whole idea is after about a month or so, you will find that the frequency of your, distractions of your mind, those gaps, the frequency comes down and the span of those gaps also start coming down. So then after some time, one day what will happen is to maintain your yama niyama as well and also practice your pranayama and asana well. Over a period of time, this starts coming down. The distractions start coming down. The span of the gap start coming down. And one day for the entire period of 15 minutes, your mind is going to be completely with that. They assure you this. Then what happens? Then you say you have graduated from a stage called dharana to a stage called dhyana. So they have 3 stages in meditation, in yoga. The first stage is called dharana, where repeated attempts are to be made to bring your mind to the object. Why? Because my mind has had a different, had a different tendency, different samskara it had. Samskara is a different habit it had. Now I have done everything that is to be done. And if you keep on doing this for a period of time, then they say that mind will be on the object every time you start your meditation. The mind will be completely on the object for a long period of time. And ultimately one day, you may even forget yourself. And then your mind will be completely on the object you meditate upon. And that is, they call it as samadhi. Okay? So the whole idea yoga is to make a distracted mind, habitually distracted mind, to a mind which is habitually one-pointed. My mind used to be, as a matter of habit, it used to be distracted. Now what have I done? I have been able to change my mind to one that habitually is able to, remain focused. I got it. So my mind changes. There is a parinama. Then if you really see somebody who has done yoga like this, and then you will see him or her after some time, oh yes, he's completely a different person now. How do you say that? From the way the mind is able to function. So you can look at yoga from so many different points of view. One way of looking at yoga is to understand it from the three gunas point of view. This will help us to understand why the various aspects of yoga. Why should there be 8 angas? Why should there be 8 angas? Why not there be only one anga? Why not just practice asanas and then forget about the rest of the things? Then he said that because there are different things. Because there are 3 gunas, I got to take care of the 3 gunas, make myself more and more dominantly sattvic. This is what I have got to do. So there is a definite reason why. And then in the Hatha Yoga, in the Raja Yoga and Hatha Yoga, they have divided their the expertise. There are some people who are very good in asana. They study the body so well. Now if I do this particular nadi is stretched. If I do this, some other chakra is like that. They have done a lot of research. So those people have developed yoga, which is purely highly physical. Highly physical. In addition, they also developed procedures which will make physiological changes. That's called pranayama. So between asana and pranayama, they go together. They go together. Between asana and pranayama, all the necessary changes that you, physical and physiological changes that you need, so that you can sit down and meditate, are achieved. Okay. Then once that is done, the Raja Yogis take over. What is the meaning of the word Raja Yoga? Raja means Rajra. So Raja means to illuminate. Rajra, the term Rajra means to illuminate. Like there is darkness, you bring light there, you are able to see that. Likewise, my mind which is dark, now it develops certain illumination. It is able to illuminate. It is able to show a lot of things which I never used to understand when I didn't do Raja Yoga. So Raja Yoga is able to show a lot of things within our own self, our own mind. Ultimately, it is able to show the true nature of our own self, which is called Purusha. All of them become possible due to Raja Yoga. Due to why is it? First of all, for all these things, the mind should be able to remain focused. Mind should be able to remain focused. So towards that, the 2 yogas, Hatha Yoga and Raja Yoga, they work in tandem. Is that right? Hatha Yoga first, and then you start. After you practice Hatha Yoga for some time, then you start getting interested in Raja Yoga, start your meditation. But then the twin aspects of Hatha Yoga, there is both asana and pranayama, they should be practiced together. If you merely practice asana, what happens? Tamas that is produced, you might become more and more tamasic. That is why after you practice asana, immediately you must practice pranayama. In fact, in India we have got I don't know whether you are familiar with this, we are even children, are initiated into the Vedic study. There is a ceremony called Upanayana. Have you heard of that? Upanayana, they have the great ceremony about it. So at the end of that, the boys will be required to do a ritual in the morning. They made it into a ritual. What should you do? You should do you should sit in a posture, you do 10 times pranayama, and then take the Gayatri mantra and meditate on it about 108 times. The whole purpose of this is to not to lose not to lose your ability to focus. See, we are all very intelligent people, but then we have over a period of time, right from the moment we get up in the morning, we go to bed, our minds are distracted. The moment you get up in the morning, if you are a wife, your husband is going to ask you a lot of things. If you are a husband, your wife is going to ask you a lot of things. Right from the moment you get up from the bed, you are distracted. And this distraction goes on until you fall asleep. This goes on. So there is no way of helping the mind to remain focused. So in the olden days, they said the boys will have to. So you do it on a lifelong basis. Every day morning you take about 15 hours, 15 minutes or 20 minutes, where you sit in an asana, do your pranayama for about 5 minutes or so, followed by a meditation for about 15 minutes on the Gayatri. So every day your mind comes to a stage of one pointedness, so that I don't lose this particular capacity of the mind. I keep it, I keep it under use. I'm able to use this. What you say? Use it or you lose it. Same thing. If I don't use my mind, I don't focus my mind. Unfortunately, what happens in our present way of life, whether it is Ukraine or US or India, we have allowed the mind to be completely every time our mind is getting distracted. And I don't find anybody, my father used to be distracted, my mother used to be distracted, my grandfather used to be distracted, my children are distracted, my relatives are distracted, my friends are distracted. Everybody around me are distracted. How can I learn? How can I learn how to... I don't even know anybody who is able to even think on this line. Fortunately, the yoga philosophy talks about this. Yoga philosophy talks about these things. And then they have developed the system. And so, even though most of us do yoga, we don't know why it is being done. We normally try to treat yoga as a physical exercise. There are lots and lots of new things coming up. There is very little that goes on to understand why this particular system has got so many angas, so many asanas, so many pranayama, so many different types of meditation. They are all there. Right. Any questions?
Ramaswami, is it possible if you're helping a student reduce their rajas, that it could possibly create more rajas? Like they're aware that they have the rajas, so they become rajas over their rajas?
No, according to this system, if you regularly practice asanas regularly, rajas should come down. Okay. Simultaneously, you must do pranayama so that tamas also comes down. You must have a system by which they practice not only asana, but they must also practice pranayama. If they don't do that, then what happens? Rajas may come down, but then tamas may increase. This is not desirable. So that is one thing that is happening in the yoga world now. Not only here, even in India. They teach only asana. They say don't know pranayama. For pranayama, you wait for 20 years. It's not, my teacher never did that, I'll tell you. After a month or so, you start your pranayama practice, even with
Children.
No, I'm talking, supposing you go to him to study yoga, for the first month or so, he will be teaching a lot of asanas, but then he will immediately introduce to pranayama. Again, his system consists of making use of breath along with asana practice. So there was, there is an integrated approach there. So that asana and pranayama are practiced. This is not the way asanas, yoga is practiced these days. I will tell you, this is not the way it is practiced. So what you are doing is entirely, I don't say it is wrong, entirely different from how they are supposed to be done according to the old text. Of course, nobody reads the old text because I write books. I don't read the old books. I keep on writing. I write books. I write a book on yoga, but I have never studied any of the old books. Now they say yoga is evolving. I try to give out my own views about it. It may be useful, but you are losing. There's a lot of information that is available. I must first absorb them, understand them, and then if I develop on that, it is very good. But I don't do it. I straight away start writing books and all. So that leads to an understanding of yoga which is different from what it is supposed to be according to the old text. Supposing you say I don't care for the old text, then you also lose the various benefits that are supposed to accrue out of yoga. So that is why that in fact in India, children, as I told you, at the age of 7, they are asked to do pranayama. Every day they will have to do 10 times pranayama before they go for their Gayatri meditation. They do noon time, they should do it again during dusk. So this becomes a lifelong. As I told you, every day your mind should remain focused for about 15 minutes. I want to give that particular practice. If you are a musician, you practice for 1 hour. Your mind is going to be completely in music for 1 hour, or you are a gymnast. You are so focused, you to do that. So this is exactly what is being done. I would like to develop this particular tendency. Okay. Yes, thank you.
So when one prepares for meditation, should you always do asana and pranayama?
Yeah. We always practice asana and pranayama because the one without the other is of no use. You want to get, just because they are two different angas, it doesn't mean that we should practice only one. And unfortunately nowadays people say that pranayama you wait for a long period of time, or pranayama is dangerous and all that. Everything is there. What about asana? The way they teach asanas, it is dangerous. Asanas are supposed to be sthiratva and sukhatva. They are supposed to produce what you call harmony, and what you call, you must feel happy doing asanas. And what happens? You drive yourself. See, the person next to you, the next person next to you is got able-bodied and he is able to do a lot of asanas. You try to ape him. What happens? You hurt yourself. That's why my teacher used to say that asana, yoga should be adapted to individual requirements. Some people may not need, their mind is already sattvic, they don't need all these asanas. They can straight away go to meditation. Whereas on the other hand, others will need more of asana so that they have to reduce the rajas. So the individual requirements will have to vary. There is nothing like, but unfortunately in the studio setup, what happens, everybody goes to there and then there is one instruction, that's what I also teach. But what you should understand is, in addition to your asana practice, there are a lot of things I have to practice, a lot of things I have to understand. If you practice asana and pranayama together, they do wonders. If you practice only asanas, it doesn't do wonders. It harms to a great extent. Yes.
So if someone is a musician or a dancer or an athlete and spends time completely engrossed in what they're doing, is that the equivalent of a meditation?
No, I just gave it as an example. I gave it an example. These people who are highly focused, if they can also do asana and pranayama, they will be able to make a tremendous progress. Because sometimes what happens is you are forced to remain focused, and then you force yourself to remain. The rest of the time the mind is allowed to wander. So this should become what you call a habit. That is, a yogi is able to habitually focus the mind. It becomes a habit. If I take something, I am completely in it, and my mind is going to be complete. I train my mind. How do I train my mind? By this dharana dhyana practice. If I keep on practicing, there is a change in the mind. What is my mind after all? It is supposed to be made up of my samskaras. Samskara means habits. The way I use my hand, the way I speak, it's all my samskara. This is how I have been developing all these years. Each one has got his own her own samskara. The yogi has developed his own samskara. So habitually, very easy for the yogi to focus. Whereas it is very difficult. See, the Yoga Sutra says this is possible for everybody, because sarvabhauma chitta siddhama. Every mind is capable of that. Every mind is capable of that. But if I had allowed my mind to go in this particular groove, it is not, it's very unhappy. It is not able. The reason, I'm the cause of all this unhappiness. I have allowed my mind to be completely remain in this on a low level of, I allowed my mind to take its own course. There was nobody to take it, like an orphan, I allowed my mind to behave like an orphan. No guidance whatsoever. But yoga says that, he'll guide you. This is the way it is to be done. They have studied the mind, they have studied the way body-mind system works, yes.
I think the ability to focus is really important. I know that yoga has been able to allow me to do that better. Yet there's still a lot of stress in life. I think a lot of us have work beyond the yoga that we do. What would you recommend to try to reduce the effects of stress on your body?
Then that is taken care of. How is the stress produced? Stress is produced by the outside world. You get a lot of stress.
Well, just stress for making decisions, employees, jobs.
That is with respect to the outside world. So that's why if I find that the stress is virtually taking over me, then I got to take a decision. Am I going to, destroy myself trying to sort out the problem from the outside world, or am I going to take care of myself? So yoga becomes, we puts a choice to you. That is why they said yama niyama. Are you practicing yama niyama? What does it mean? How am I going to react to the outside world? Okay, so this is a choice everybody